What's up, everybody? Um, so I told you that Tuesdays were gonna start being sort of my review of WWE and shit like that. So when every time I come back and I start watching it again, I enjoy it, and then I start noticing things, and I swear, the more I start noticing things, the more I'm going, I wish I could just turn that part of my brain off and just enjoy something because it's there. I have to say that they have a problem now. Um, Other people have covered it to where they're saying that people are cheering for the bad guys and booing the good guys, and I think that has a lot to do with there hasn't really been any match finishes in a while. Last night on Raw, um, you had Io Sky beat Roxana Perez, but then she gets jumped. And then you had Rusev beat Otis again, and then he goes back in and messes him up again. And when they had the main event booking, I just went, this is dumb. This is so dumb because there's no way you're going to have Jay drop the belt so soon after getting it. Um, I think the Kofi Kingston effect is very much on every singles title because you can't have someone that everybody loved and that you started giving a push and everybody responded positively to, and you kept going and you kept trying to sit there and get him more and more momentum, and then you have him get squashed by Brock Lesnar in 12 seconds and he loses his title and he doesn't gain it back ever again. Um, I understand that was probably under Vince and that was probably one of his racists. Here, we'll give it to the black fella, and then the big guy that I love so much, he gets it back. Because Vince always loved his muscular dudes, never really cared about anybody that was smaller or faster or more daring. He wanted the bigger the better. I mean, that's why the Great Khali had a career, and the fact that the Great Khali had a career to me was just baffling. I'm going, he can't move. He can't take any bumps seriously. Like it just seems like it's a struggle for him to stand, let alone to try and be maneuverable. And I'm just going, this is dumb. But anyway, what had been happening, and it still keeps happening on Raw, on SmackDown. It doesn't matter. Someone comes in, interferes with the match, everything goes to crap. Someone comes in, interferes with a match, everything goes to crap. Someone comes in, interferes with the match, everything goes to crap. Well, dude, can we stop? Are you so afraid of telling a good story that you can't have someone get pinned? Because the moment they were like, here's Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso for the title tonight. And I'm going, yeah, no. You have all of this heat behind Rollins after Mania, and he's going up there and he's taking Braun with him, and I'm calling it now. Rusev's going to join him. Just watch. Based off of everything that they're saying about how Rusev is trying to help people find themselves and become a better version of themselves and crap like that. Look at what Seth Rollins. I'm a visionary. I'm a revolutionary. It's right along those same lines. They're writing it into the story right now. Rusev's going to join them. And he's going to have two big old juggernauts on his back. And he's going to be going, let's do this. But you're not going to have Seth lose all that heat because that was built up for a little while, and that's going, and that's a good thing. And then you got Jey Uso, who was going and saying, here you go. I'm gonna win the title. I won the title. It was still a quick submission. I didn't like that, but anyway, He wins the title, and his first defense, he's going to drop it. No. You knew right then and there, the moment that match was announced that it was going to be the main event, someone was coming in and someone was going to interfere because neither side could afford a loss. Not at least as far as the push that they're doing for both of them and the time and energy they're putting into both of them. Someone was going to interfere with that match, and it's getting pathetic because the Judgment Day will interfere with someone, and then one of the Judgment Day has a match, and then that someone comes in and interferes. I mean, and then you have Braun Strowman, who was coming in and interfering or being interfered with, and then Jacob Fatu interfering, and then other people interfering with him. Like it's getting done and tired, man. Seriously, knock it off. The match was okay, but I couldn't enjoy it knowing that something was going to happen, and neither one of them were going to lose their momentum. The moment it was announced, I was like, this is just a bad booking. This is a bad match. It just should not happen. 2-3 months down the line, it might have been, it might have been, something to behold, something to be fun to watch, because you could potentially, but there's no way. There's no way either one of these guys is winning tonight. And then when you see CM Punk run out with a chair, I'm going, see, there you go. But I honestly don't ever remember hearing the bell ring. Just saying. But it ended in just such a... So you have the Seth Rollins stable of fans that is hopeful that something's going to happen. You have the Jey Uso stable of fans that hope that something's going to happen. And then both are left disappointed. Because they're just kind of going, well, what the hell was the point? Why are you bringing in Punk? Like this is just kind of dumb. And so, damn it. When you have something like that happen because of a bad booking, you're just going, come on. And even with the Io Sky and Roxanne Perez, they went through near pinfall after near pinfall after near pinfall. 1-2 flip, 1-2 flip, 1-2 flip, 1-2 flip. I mean, it just kept going. And then eventually Io won. And then Roxanne is like, good job. And I'm just going, y'all have been a thorn in their side for quite a while. It ain't ending like this. Because there's not enough faces and there's more heels. So when you have them have that, and then here comes Julia, and then Roxanne's like, haha, now I come in and we beat you up. I understand you're trying to give Io more opponents, and Io is over pretty well with the fans right now. But then so is Bianca. A lot of people like Naomi. Don't understand why. I can't stand her. I don't think she's good at anything other than just being weird. Obviously you can't have Liv Morgan out there. You're not going to have Raquel Rodriguez go out there because she's half the tag champs, so she's pretty much off TV other than if they show the Judgment Day's clubhouse. And so you have to get other women people involved. And the Becky Lyra thing is, I'm going, where was this the whole time? I feel bad because I'm willing to bet that Becky grabs the title at Backlash. I really hope they don't. But I'm betting Becky gets the title at Backlash. Because this is some shit that they should have been doing with Lyra for a while, but because everyone else was tied up into a story, it's like, who do you get? Do you get just like some girl jobbers and pretend that they're going to help and do shit? No. So, I mean, at what point do you go, we need to get her somebody? And you tried Bailey, and then for whatever reason, you're like, yeah, let's have Bailey and Lyra go for the tag titles. I'm like, Bailey just tried to beat her ass to get the title. Why is she going to team up? And I feel bad that they're not booking Bailey well. And for whatever reason, Bailey is extremely loved in outside of the U.S. and she's not really cared about in the U.S. And Becky pretty much said so in her promo. But then it's like Lyra finally had a fire behind her, and I'm going, and now she's gonna help throw Becky up the ladder again, because there's no way I think you have Becky not get the title. I I think it's smarter if she doesn't, because this feud that Lyra and Becky got going on right now is pretty awesome. And it's what a friend of mine was saying. This is what Charlotte and Tiffany should have been. And I went, I agree, but the thing is that I think it was too much for Charlotte. And what I mean by that is Charlotte had an injury, and she was saying she had never been injured before. And then she ended up having a divorce last year. And then she has to train to get back. She gets back. She wins the Rumble. She's thinking everyone's going to be happy that she's back. And they are just like, no, girl, bye. It was probably the most polarizing Royal Rumble winners in quite some time, because people were like, of course, Charlotte's going to win. Charlotte's the poster child for being a Nepo baby. And she even said so in a couple of her promos. Isn't nepotism great? And I'm going, this is disgusting. And I know they really tried to tie into her heel persona, which she's way better at, because she's not good at being good. She's good at being bad. Because she would always be like, woo or boo, I don't care. You love me. And I'm just going, well, okay. And then you had Tiffy, who everyone was saying was pretty much the next Charlotte. And I think that also got under Charlotte's skin, which is why a lot of the promos that were cut, she goes off script. So you didn't really have a good female rivalry going on, because you tapped it out and capped it out at 41 with Rhea, Io, and Bianca. That was your last good female feud. You didn't have another one after that. So then what? So now you've got Lyra and Becky, and I'm going, you need to keep this fire going for a little bit. Because if Lyra drops the belt, then who goes after it to get it from Becky? You're not going to pull Bailey back in, because if you're not going to pull Bailey against a relatively unknown Lyra versus a well-known Becky, you're not going to give it to Bailey. So who do you go next? Jade? Possibly. I would say last week kind of showed how I'm going to go ahead and say it, how fairly undeveloped Jade is on the mic, and her ring skills suffer a little bit in comparison to some others. But I think if you're smart, you keep this feud going with Lyra and Becky for at least one more pay-per-view. You gotta have at least one more. You just gotta. She hasn't defended it on a pay-per-view yet, so you can't have her drop it the first one. Then you can have even more heat from Becky, and then you could have Becky go to her husband and be like, hey, anyway, you and Heyman can help me get this title off of this scrub. Well, now Lyra's got to find backup, because Becky's got two bad mofos and Paul Heyman. I mean, there hasn't really been too many times where at work they've colluded, so I think it'd be kind of cool if they actually did, and Becky joins that coalition, and then also have Rusev join it. And that way you pretty much are creating a counterpoint to Judgment Day, because it doesn't look like Judgment Day is going anywhere soon, and Finn needs to leave it after Backlash. The Raw after Backlash, Finn needs to leave. That's just how I look at it. He needs to leave, and then a couple weeks later, because they were saying that Liv's only really going to be out like a month or two. So when Liv comes back, she's like, how the hell do you get Finn to leave? Oh, well, who cares? We didn't need him anyway. And then you could start to build up more feuds and things like that. You could even have Finn then take on his demon persona again and join Seth Rollins. I mean, why not? Damn iteth. But yeah, we got to stop with the match interruptions. Have clear-cut winners. I mean, it was nice seeing Penta finally win again. First singles match he's won since Ludwig? Yeah, because every other match he was in after that was a multi-person match. So yeah, I was just like, I don't know. And then the other thing that I'll say is, you just acquired AAA. You've had all these luchadors going on. You've even sat there and converted Chad Gable to El Grande Americano. And you have a Raw on Cinco de Mayo. And you don't put a damn Spanish person on camera? What the hell's wrong with you? Seriously? LWO couldn't do anything? Have them have a little party in the back and invite people to it. There's a fine balance that should always be tiptoed in pro wrestling. And you need to have the serious moments and the funny moments. And there weren't any funny moments last night. It was all just kind of, here we go. And most of it, honestly, was forgettable. It was a pretty just kind of ho-hum Raw. I'm tired of matches being interfered with. It's something that's got to stop, because it's getting boring. Because every single week, at least 2 matches have someone get interfered with. And it's getting ridiculous. You got to stop. Anyway, that's all I got. SmackDown was actually better than Raw. It's been so long ago. I didn't even do a video on it. I don't remember what in the hell happened. But yeah, keep pushing Lyra. I would like to see Jade work with Becky. Once Becky, and have Becky lose on Saturday, and then Jade just come up and go, I thought you were the man. I guess you're just second best. Oh, third. I'm first, the title winner, you. And then they feud. And then you get Lyra sprinkled in from time to time. And then they go after Lyra. But it's almost to the point to where I think there's too many championships and not enough TV time. And I don't understand why in the hell you have commercials on Netflix. Isn't that the whole point of having a subscription, that we don't get commercials? I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. I'll try to have these be a little bit more often. I was very elevated last night and could not do this at all. I could barely think last night. So, yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe.